Knowing that she was also an alumna of Barnard College, which is where I went to college in New York City, I was very proud of the fact that she went there too. I always like to collect people who've gone to Barnard. And then she invited me to dinner at her beautiful home in New York with one of her boyfriends. I remember he was there, Orrin Lehman, and she was very funny and very friendly, and everything was gorgeous. A beautiful table, wonderful conversation, funny. And then when I started having a daily show, I would invite Joan on frequently, as much as she wanted to come on, and I think she was on at least a dozen times on my show. And we would always do a craft. We would laugh. She was so self-effacing. I mean, that's her comedy. That self-effacing, self-deprecating, sexy kind of no-holds-barred comedy, which was very appealing to so many millions of people. No, actually, I think she might have invited me, and I couldn't go. I would have loved to have gone to a Seder at Joan's house. I'm always like the stranger who comes to the Seder or to the, because I'm not Jewish, but having been married to a Jew, and although sort of a non-religious Jew, we never had Seders or none of the great holiday celebrations at my house. I always like to go to some place for Passover or for Yom Kippur. I like that. Well, I think Joan had just hundreds and hundreds of friends like me. Someone who we were professionally linked because of our television careers, because of our education, I think. But Joan, and people come and go when you're a television host. They come and you're friends, and they go, and you don't see them for a while, and they come back, and it's like they never left. It's that kind of relationship. And she always was friendly and always funny. When she started her jewelry line, we loved we loved when she came because she always brought a gift from her jewelry line. Many pieces I still have and wear. Lots of fun, and just visiting her home. She lived lavishly and beautifully, and you would never know how she lived unless you had gone and seen it. Well, times when I would be actually kind of embarrassed at what she was saying, because she would say anything, things that I could never say in a million years. She would say in her comedic way, and I think that those are probably my fondest memories, because I blush easily, and she could make me blush just by being that self-deprecating person. It's hard to be self-deprecating and hard to talk about the kinds of things that she would talk about, female things, sex things, and she just did it freely and funnily and endearingly.
And could I just say, every time I see matzah, it reminds me of my chest, flat and brown spots. So I was like, Joan.
I think Joan would love to be remembered as a funny woman, a woman who spoke. She, you know, a spade is a spade to Joan, and she really was very open, forthright, funny. Well, I think we should all remember Joan as, I say, as a forthright, funny woman. A woman who wasn't afraid of getting old, even though she talked about it incessantly, but she knew she was getting older. She knew she was a mature woman, but she made fun of it. And I think that the way that she talked about all the challenges of growing older, I think she spoke the truth. The truth that many of us tried to avoid, many of us tried to look the other way. Joan was never afraid to say the truth. And I think we should remember her that way. I think this is a perfect tribute for Joan Rivers. Well, oftentimes when Joan came on my show, we would do something Jewish related around the holidays. We did a cake with matzah. Only Joan could make a cake with matzah in a funny, endearing way. We also made hummus, something that I never really liked until I went to Israel, and then I realized, wow, this is a fantastic thing, hummus. And we had fun making a dip, a hummus dip for raw vegetables. It's heartbreaking that she's not here any longer for us to enjoy. But we can look back at the segments I did with her, on the segments that she did. I just was looking on Wikipedia. Look up Joan on Wikipedia and see the hundreds of movies in which her voice is used. Her acting, her films are just things that you would never know. She was in Shrek. She was in The Intern. She was in Napoleon. She was in Public Enemy #2. There's so many things that you have no idea. She was a hard-working woman and a very talented woman. And then her TV from 1968 all the way up to just last year. I mean, amazing career. It's very fun to see. I personally did not have any idea that she did so much. I make lots of Jewish food. I make latkes every single Passover and Easter. I make chicken soup, of course. I make good pot roasts. I make very good horseradish to eat with the pot roast. I can do all those things. Gefilte fish. Joan was not on my show when I made gefilte fish with famous Jewish men who had to bring their mother's recipe, but she would have been the perfect hostess for that show, and we talked about it. Well, Melissa, as a daughter of a famous mother, I think you should remember her as we remember her, as someone who was your best friend, someone you could work together, argue with, someone who loved your children, someone who was the greatest grandma. I think we would all like to be remembered, or at least by our children and grandchildren, the way so many millions remember Joan Rivers. Good luck, Melissa.